Howdy, Beeflo Bart here, and welcome. Alrighty, as the title suggests, we're going to be looking at the Polygon Farm Pack. First thing I'm going to do is load up the demonstration map, and we'll take a look at it, but let's go ahead and start poking around the map, and then we'll start adding some life to it. We'll target the characters to work with the third-person animation blueprint, and we'll start making some things come to life. So to start off with, let's go ahead and go with world settings. I'm going to change my game mode override, third-person game mode. I am utilizing this with my simple multiplayer Steam template so that it can be used as multiplayer. As you can see, TB4 farm pack. Once I get a few things alive in here, we'll release this on itch.io as a try before you buy pack, so you'll have access to download it and be able to check it out. So you and your friends can walk around and see if this is what you want to get. And yeah, if you're interested in the farm stuff, then you're going to want to buy the pack. It's just one of those things. So let's just go ahead and hit play. There's no player start, but of course there's no sound here. We're just on the demonstration map. So we got the sprinkler system here. And that's cool. That's nice. That's one of the things I'm going to bring to life. So we've got plants of different types. Got some maters. Got some pumpkins. Got corn. This is broccoli. Flowers. What this RB? Could be just about anything like cotton or whatever, but got some carrots, multiple farm instruments, and some more corn. And it's nice that the corn actually moves around. That looks lovely. Got your static grass. Let's go to first person view. Pitchfork, wheelbarrow, got some trucks. Nice little bucket loader there. Other farm implements here. I am not a farmer, so I'm not going to even say, oh, well, this is a whatever. This looks like a hay baler. And, that's liquid fertilizer, I would imagine. I do actually have some animations for wheelbarrow that I could possibly use, but I'm not going to do that because I'm not actually releasing a game here. I'm actually just going to release this as a try before you buy. But I'm going to add a few little things in here to add a little life. Gotta have this. Gotta have an outhouse. It's like lettuce. Got your water tank up there. Some grain silos, some barns, some houses. Awfully cool. Then we have the ability to not walk up those stairs. You can walk in the house. Let's see, you got a chainsaw there. It's always fun. Anvil. Lots of little cool things here. Problem trying to get through right there. But you can jump over it, but we'll look at why you can't get through there. And it's not a collision issue. Well, it is a collision issue, but we're just too fat to fit through the stairs. Bed. So it makes it interesting getting in and out there. And of course all the doors are closed. I pick on that all the time. Nice barn, tool bench, some other little miscellaneous stuff. A truck with a tarp over it. It's broke down. A couple different types of farmhouses. That's cool. Some trees. Oh, you got the wind turbines over there. Got to definitely make those work. Want to make some plants that grow. Of course, we'll do it at a rather fast rate just because this is going to take forever walking around because this is a really big map. I mean, whoever made this one, look at that. It goes all the way over there, all the way down this road, all the way down to there. So that's a lot of stuff going on. But we definitely got to make the wind turbines spin, if possible. make some plants grow, and whatever else we can come up with. So, let's dig in. First thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do as I always do here. And in my maps folder, I'm going to go ahead and create a test map. File, new level, VR basic. I do this all the time. Get rid of all the ball, the cubes, and the pyramid. And I will just go ahead and drag you to the corner. And to make sure that I do that, third person game mode, and we'll do save all, and we'll save this as in our normal maps folder, test map. So inside this test map, this is where we're going to test things like the plants growing and make sure our character's working, things of that nature. So, if you're familiar with my channel, you've seen me do this 100,000 times before for our characters. So we've got, a handful. Got a farmer's daughter, scarecrow, farmer male. So you got a couple different farmers, female, and a boy. I also got the scarecrow hat and wheat, so I guess you could be chewing on a piece of wheat. Sunglasses, a couple different cowboy hats, baseball hats, and a bucket hat. Cool. So what we'll do is we'll get the characters animated, and then we'll also add in a hat function. And if we want glasses on somebody, then we can. You might set up the farmer's daughter with sunglasses and a hat. The first thing I'm going to do is go to edit preferences, because Unreal Engine 4 doesn't like me and doesn't remember my settings. And I'm going to make sure that I open everything in the main window. I'm going to go to loading and saving and disable autosave. If you rely on autosave, you're wrong. That save button is easy to reach from multiple screens and multiple blueprints. Be the master of your own saves. Don't rely on autosave to keep you from screwing up. Make it a habit to constantly be hitting that that nice little save button and save all. So we're going to start off. We're going to go to our character mesh, and as I usually do, let's actually go to our character folder. If you don't have one, go ahead and create a character folder. And we've already got a blueprints folder, but we need a mesh folder. This is going to be for the skeletal mesh of our character we're going to use. And I'm going to go to our character folder for the polygon farm. I'm going to grab, and you see the only skeleton that we have is listed as the scarecrow skeleton, but it works for all of them. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to left click and drag it, drop and copy here to my mesh folder. I'm going to select it, hit F2, and I'm going to call this our SK, which for skeletal mesh, underscore polygon. So if I decide to add any other polygon packs in here, the majority of the polygon characters can be retargeted to this skeleton simply by doing this one little thing here. Go to our characters, and I'm going to select all of them, which are kind of this pinkish material or color. These are our skeletal meshes for our characters. Then I'll just right click, go to skeleton, and assign skeleton. Because it's the same exact skeleton, just renamed, now all I have to do is select that polygon one that I created and hit accept. You'll have to do that for each of the characters you have highlighted there. So this is going to make sure that all of our characters now work with this one skeleton. And then we're going to hit that save all button. Go back to our new skeleton that we created. Double click on it, and now we'll just go ahead and hit apply to asset, and the farmer girl will be our primary asset for the skeleton, and then hit save. Close that. The next thing we're going to do is go to our mannequin, UE4 mannequin, and its skeleton. Just to make sure, we want to go in here and make sure this is set. By default, it should be. Select humanoid rig should be there. If not, then whenever you go into the skeleton, you'll just click here and select humanoid rig. If you don't have retarget manager tab here, then yeah, just click that and it'll pop down for you. So the next thing I want to do is, since our Synty characters are in a T-pose and 90% of the characters in the planet are built on a T-pose and this is built on a Y-pose, whatever. So we're just going to raise the upper arm up by 50. We're going to lower the lower arm down by 10 and then back by 30. I'm going to take the hand and raise it up by 10. Then do the same thing on the other side. I want to select our upper arm, go up 50, lower arm down 10, back 30, hand up 10. We're going to hit modify pose, use current pose, save, close. And then we can do save all again, because it has but has not made any changes to our skeletal mesh for the mannequin, but we don't care. Now, in our character folder, the next thing we're going to do is create another folder called Animations. What's up, my brother? Was just thinking about you earlier, and it was mostly good. Not in a weird way. Well, it's always weird with me, but you know what I'm saying. You guys have seen me do this 100,000 times. But anyway, I'm going to go to my third person anim BP. I'm going to select it, hit F2, Control C, so I can copy that name down. And then I'm going to click off of it, and then retarget. Now when I go in here, the first thing I'm going to do is select my SK polygon. So you can see we match up. We go from the skeleton to the pretty girl. Go to replace, Control V. Yeah, I keep saying that whenever I win the lottery, I'm going to fly over there to you, and I'm going to bring you some money. We can go shopping and get you a new computer. So we'll replace the third person anim BP that we pasted in there, and we're going to call this our unarmed underscore ABP. We're going to hit change, and then we're going to grab my 1911 and walk next door and shoot the neighbor for revving up his frickin' Harley while I'm trying to stream. Then we're going to go to our characters folder, animations, and okie dokie. It's 3 in the morning, and it's 10 here, so I haven't been streaming as early as I had been, just because by the time I get woke up and get motivated, starting on the 16th, you got a couple days. So we are all set here with our animations. So now we need to go to our blueprints, our player, which mine is called player underscore base. Go to our viewport so we can see our character. Oh yeah, time shift. Yeah, I don't think about that being the thing. You can see the camera is perfectly set up right there for our character. But as soon as I go to mesh and change our skeletal mesh, and we're going to be why not? Let's be the farm girl. Now look at the camera. Looking right down at her giblets. So we'll go back to here and select our unarmed, and then I'm going to pause our animation cycle here and just uncheck real time from this arrow there so that I can fix this camera. I don't know why it does that, and yeah. So with the camera selected, I'm going to select our rotation. Yeah, she is a touch on the short side. We're going to adjust the capsule a little bit too, because that will help with collisions of walking through things. So I'm just going to fix my camera really quickly. And uncheck snapping, just simply because it's not going to be just right. So I want to get it right between the eyes. And then pull it forward to where most of the face is gone. Yeah, I like giblets. I'm sorry, dirty old man, getting off track here. Compost and save, but if we want to come in and add a hat or anything else, we can do that later. We just wanted to make sure that our character works Go back to real time. You can see here our capsule collision does not match the size of our character. So the first thing I want to do is I'll look at the capsule component, and I'm going to change this from the radius from 42 to 30. Well, hell, let's go 32. That shrinks it in a little bit more and should be a little bit better. We have a height problem also. I'm not going to address that yet, because you start messing with this and you got to move the character mesh up and down, and it's a little bit on the weird side. So we'll compost and save. And now, when we hit play, we're a pretty girl. Yay. And we can walk around. You want fries with that shake? I'm sorry. Okay, so we got the farm girl. She works. So let's take a look at some of the things that are actually in the map. We go back to here and go into our demonstration map. Some of the things that I see that I really want to do, and I've already done, so I know how to do it, is like the sprinkler. It's cool, but we want it to work. Yeah, man. You just got to give me a shout on Discord, and we can talk anytime. So I'm going to make these sprinklers work. So I'm going to select the sprinkler base piece here, which is all of it, not including the particle effect, which is cool. So I'm going to take that, and I'm going to go to my details panel and click on the magnifying glass, and it's going to take me right to that prop. So that's cool. But I still need to create a blueprint for it, so we'll go to our assets folder, since we're making new stuff, and I'm going to create a new folder called Blueprints. Yeah, man, appreciate it. And make sure you check out the Battle Royale project. It's fully functional right now. If you got some friends local that can play it on PC, just give it a try. Got 2 maps in there now. Go to Blueprint Class Actor, and we're going to call this BP_ Sprinkler. Always good to see you, brother. Yep, just started adding the war pack on top of the Battle Royale pack. I'll do a larger map for the 3rd map so that I can bring back the airplane, and where you can deploy from the airplane, and then I'll bring back the circle. So you got to make sure you're always in the circle or you die. So I'm going to go back to my sprinkler, click back on here again so that I have it selected underneath my mouse cursor. Go back in here, add component, static mesh. And that's good to go. And now we need the particle effect. And again, I can do the same thing here. I can click on the sprinkler, click on the magnifying glass, and there it is. And now I can do add component, particle system, FX sprinkler. Now we're just going to need to rotate it around and move its location. So that it matches up with... Okay, now you're just being stupid. There. And we're going to want to move it around a little bit, so it looks like it's coming out from the actual sprinkler unit. So that's cool. We've just recreated the exact same thing that's already in the map. But we want to add some life to it. So I'm going to click off so nothing is selected. I'm going to add component and add a rotating movement. I'm going to select the rotating movement, and it's set to 180. I'm going to leave it there, and we're going to come back and we're going to adjust that so we can slow it down a little bit. So with this right here, if we select... No, stop being an asshole. Select the sprinklers. And do this and this. No, butthole. Go away. I didn't select anything. Just shut up. Don't show this ever again. This and this. That should select all the sprinkler heads. And I'm going to get rid of the hoses as well because you got the hoses connecting them. So I'm going to select here and here. And I'm going to hit delete. I am going to select the particle effects here. So we got those to here and hit delete. So the sprinklers are gone. Now we can go back to our sprinkler blueprint. And I'm going to place them back out here again. I'm going to put one here. And all I'm going to do is Control C, Control V. And I'm going to kind of spread them around a little bit. I'm not going to put as many out. I'll just put 3 out for now. And here's the third one. Now, if I hit play, you can see they spin around. They are a little on the fast side. Looks kind of cool, but let's actually slow them down. So we'll go to our rotating movement, and I'm going to cut that down to about 50 from 180. And we're going to compost and save. Hit play. And to vary it up just a little bit. They're all rotating in the same direction at the same time. Grab like, I guess if you zoomed in, you could actually click on something a little bit easier, dum-dum. So all I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to rotate it, and whatever, 90 degrees this way. And I'll rotate this one 90 degrees this way. And I'm going to slow it down just a wee bit more. We're going to go at around 30. And that should be good to go. So now if we hit play, we have working sprinklers that actually rotate and wet all the crops. I know, crappie jokes. They get worse, I promise. Alright, so that's our sprinkler. It works. Let's take a look at our, and that's, the rotating movement is super simple and easy to work with. Let's actually look at these guys. And, well, I got you selected. Well, I had you selected, but okay, we'll hit F. As we can see, I should have used a little bit faster camera speed here. These are 2 separate props. They're joined together, and that's fine. I can work with that. You can see wind farm prop and blades. Mwah, beautiful. Works great. It's going to work great for us, rather. So, what did you call them? You called them, well, wind farms. We are going to get a new blueprint class, actor. We're going to call this BP underscore wind turbine. And we're going to go in here. First thing we're going to do is, again, it's a magnifying glass. So we got this selected. We don't actually need to modify these. We are just going to use the blade. So we can leave these guys where they are and just delete all the blades. Which is going to be interesting. We're going to have to hand select all of them because they're combined together. But we'll worry about that in just a minute. So let's go in here to our blueprint. Add component. Static mesh. We're just going to call this blades. You can see. That's it. Click off. Add a new thing. Rotating movement. We're going to set this at about 10. Let's do something a little bit different since that was just so too easy. Let's actually go in here and do this. delete everything but the event begin play, and we're going to get a rotating movement from here. We're going to, since we know that we're trying to mess with our Z rotating rate, set rotating rate. Going to do this. Now, we just want to edit the Z, but we want to make this random. And it's a rotator. So let's actually make rotator. So what we're doing here is, let's get you, yes, I'm going to be that OCD and move everything around. We only want the Z. And this now is a float. Random float and range. What we can do with that is now set the minimum would be 5. The maximum would be 15. Excuse me. So what that's going to do is give us a random speed for our rotating movement. So let's go in here and start testing this out. We know we got U selected. And I'm going to go ahead and up my camera speed and quit being a dum-dum. We're going to select U. I'm doing control click so that I can keep the other one selected and add more to that list. I could also just grab them from there as well, but dang, there's a bunch of them over there as well. But we'll start with these, and then we'll go over there and fix the other ones. So let's delete them. Let's go to our blueprints and get our wind turbine. And all we got to do is spend some time replacing the blades. And since they're all at a slight angle, what I'll probably end up doing is undoing the on the rotation so that I can match the angle. So all we're doing is trying to match it up to replace the ones that were there. Yeah, being that they're all rotated in different directions, it would probably be in my best interest just to delete all of them. You see all these wind farms here, and I'm just going to slide all the way down to here, and I should have all of them selected. And what I'll do is, for now, I'll just create my own in the map. And I really hate that nothing is in. I know if this is somebody else's work, but I'm going to criticize again. Make folders for all your stuff and categorize them. Map stuff. Things like atmospheric fog, dust. Those are effects. But atmospheric fog, height fog, light, post-process volume, those need to be in a folder like that. They are map-related stuff. You would do another one for effects, like that, and put them in there. I'm not going to go through and do all of them right now because it's quite annoying to have to go back behind somebody else and do this. And I'll just do unsorted and Go all the way to the bottom of the list. Click on there. Right click. Move to unsorted. And now all of those will be in their own little folder. And then create a new folder. Then we could add in blueprints or whatever you want for the stuff that you've created, your gadgets or whatnot. Keep clean maps so you can actually, when you put new stuff in, you can then start sorting them and getting what you're doing. So what we're going to do now is actually come into it, and we know we got our blueprint for our wind turbine. I'm just going to put a couple of them in just so we can see what they look like. It's nice that they're all the way back in the distance, but don't care as much. So go back into our props folder. You want to find where that was. We're going to grab just a static mesh, throw it in the map. So now when we add more in, we can just connect the two of them together. Go back to my blueprint folder, grab the wind turbine, and it's going to be a lot easier for me to line this up than trying to go back in and edit the other ones that were already placed in the map. So once I do this, I can select both items, Control C and Control V, and just copy and paste and rotate them however I want. So do this. Get it in position so it looks good. And let's actually hit play and test it out. Now, what we see, and this is why we test things, is the rotation is in the wrong axis. Interesting. Easy to fix, but weird. So, for right now, if we broke this, well, we don't need to break it there. We can just break it here. We know that we're just doing the Z rotating movement. Z we don't want, so let's move this to 0. And, well, G, is that in the Y? Let's try just putting a number in there, compile and save, and see if the direction is correct then. Check it out, girl's butt. It's right, but if I'm mistaken, it's backwards. So if we look at it then, go to our rotating movement, we know that's good, so we will default this at -5. Compile and save, and one more quick look at her butt. There we go. So there. It's really slow, but that's kind of what we wanted. Now if we go back in here, we can break this link because we no longer want to do the Z, we want to do the Y. And then reconnect this, and that should set up a variable rate between 5 and 15. You can change values if you want. What the hell was that all about? Why the hell am I way over there? I was not way over there. I was way over here. UE4, you do some weird shit sometimes. Oh. And negative numbers. Negative to -15. Compost, save. So now we see the rate that it's going now. If we go back in there, it's a little bit faster. We can upgrade that to whatever we want. We can make this 25 and make the minimum number 10. Do whatever you want with the speed on it, but that's just an easy way to create a variable effect. Now the good thing about it is whenever I copy and paste these in here, and what I'll do is I'll go ahead and create a new folder called Wind Turbines, grab both of those and shove them in that folder. Now with both of them selected, I can Control C, Control V, and I can just copy and paste. Change angles if I want to, whatever. So I'm just going to put a couple of them here. And at some point I'll come back and I'll add some more in. Just want to have a couple in here so that we can see that they're moving at different speeds. And that's going to be 4. That's fine. And 5. And now when we take a look at them, they should rotate at different speeds, so they're not perfectly symmetrical. And being that they're that slow, you may not notice a difference, but see, the one in the middle and the far back is actually a little bit faster. You can put them whatever speed you want. You can make them go on 10,000 miles per hour if you want to. But it's just nice to add that little bit of variability in there so that they're not all doing the same thing. You can maybe slightly rotate the direction if you want to say, okay, the wind's coming from here, but whatever. That's entirely up to you. But just want to show that you can actually set up a variable rate for your movement by doing that. And I'm actually going to raise this number up here to 55 just so you can see a drastic difference. So this one right here is moving pretty quick. So that's awesome. Alright, so let's take a look at some other stuff that we can do here to add a little life. We've got our working sprinkler system that actually spins around. Of course, we got our character we can walk around as. We don't have to be the pretty girl. We can actually be the scarecrow if we want to. If we want to change our character, just go into our characters folder, blueprints. Now go into blueprints, open it up, viewport, mesh, go to farm girl. Let's be the scarecrow. Compile and save. But let's add one more thing here. We'll select the mesh. Then I'm going to go back to our. We don't need our mannequin folder open anymore. Go to our characters, and let's grab the hat. I'm just going to select it, go here, add component, select that. We're going to say hat. We're going to socket it to the head. And then, since, Unreal Engine 4, we're going to make sure that we rotate it 90 degrees. Undo, recheck my snapping. There we go. Compost, save, close, play. We don't actually have a player start in our map, but there, we got our scarecrow. Looks a little on the spooky side if you ask me. Alright, so let's look at making some plants grow. We've got plenty of plants in here to work with. So in our meshes and plants. And we're actually going to go, we're going to save this, and we're actually going to go to our test map. But we'll take a look at the plants here in just a second as soon as we save this and go into the test map. Don't need character, we'll leave assets over, go to maps, test map. And this is where we're going to test it out here, just so we can see it, and we'll do a fast rate on it, but not on the camera. Go back to 4. Thank you. So, okay. What I'll do is I'll just go back, we'll take a look at the plants. We got, let's see, asparagus, nanners, got beans, beet roots. What is this, Minecraft? Broccolis. And some of these actually have various different states to them. Hemp. Yes, we have pot. Someone's going to be using that on their farm. Not that I would ever do anything like that. Yeah. Got different types of melons and veggies and so forth. But let's pick one to work with here. Got strawberries. Now there's a couple different options here. Is if you're going to use something like strawberries, then maybe you want multiples to be growing on the same plant and you go and pick them. That's one thing. We're going to start simple. We're going to go with, say if we did pumpkin, you have nothing. Then you have this one, then this one, then this one. So you've got 3 different states, actually 4. Not visible, then tiny, medium, normal, and then picked. So that's good. You got taters. Let's see. What's a good one we can just, so we can get a visible representation of? Peppers. I like a pepper. Chilies. This same basic principle can be expanded so that you can use it on multiple things. But let's actually, what do we want to do? Let's do carrots. You got we would have nothing, then we'd have the first sprout, then the medium sprout, and then ready to be harvested, and then the already harvested. So let's go in here, and in my assets folder, I'm gonna create a new one just to separate it. Plants, and we're going to create a blueprint class actor, and we're going to call this BP underscore carrot. Now the first thing we want to do is we need to establish the fact that these are static meshes. Plants. Yeah, these are static meshes. That's good. So with static meshes, we are going to have 1, 2, 3, technically, and then 4. So if we add a component of a static mesh, you just call that carrot. We did not assign a mesh to that. Okay, and the reason why is, for right now, we're going to run this off of begin play because we just want to see something. We're going to do a simple system. We're going to start with a delay of 5 seconds. We want to see this happen. We don't want to sit there and watch paint dry. So we want to see that after 5 seconds we go to, okay, our next thing here. We're going to get a reference to our carrot, and from here we don't have a static mesh assigned to it right now. So then we'll do set static mesh, connect that in here. This is where we're going to assign our first static mesh. So I'm going to go ahead and get a reference to the first, which is that. And then click right there, and it's selected. Okay. So if we compile and save, let's go ahead and grab blueprints, plants, right here. I'm going to grab it and place that in here. Since we don't see anything at all, let's actually go ahead and just plant a cube. And we'll do 0, 0, and 0. We'll adjust the size. And then move it up. We'll do 0.1 on the Z height, just so we can see it. And then recheck my snapping. Put on 5. All we're doing is just having something we can see here. So we'll grab this, drag it in here, and it's at 0, 0, 0. Is it now? Sure as hell is. Now if we hit play, walk over here, and after 5 seconds, it should then, there, we got our sprout. Cool. So next thing we want to do is pretty much the same thing. We are going to Control C and Control V. We don't need to drag over this. We can just drag this reference to the carrot over to the target. Connect that. So after 5 more seconds, we want to go to our next. you wouldn't be doing 5 seconds in real-time game here. So go back to our plants. Got our second carrot there, and we're going to do that. I know it doesn't look any different, but if you mouse over it, carrot 1 S and 1 M. So if we go in here, run over, take a look. There we go. And then 5 seconds later, there we go. And we'll do the same thing one more time for the final section of it. Control Z, Control V. Now this is one way of doing it. We could actually make it much more complicated if we wanted to, but there's just no need. Grab my carrot reference to my target. Grab my final state here and click there. You mouse over it and see that it's 01L. Compost and save. Now we go back into our map and we hit V. We can check it. And there it goes, our first sprout. And then it's going to grow again. And then in a few seconds, it's going to grow one more time. There we go. So we can actually take this and get rid of our piece there. So if you place that onto the ground, gee, it'd be nice. Oh, there we go. We got our first little twig. Now, with the same thing that we did before, if you want to make a slight variation in the rate of which it grows, now it's ready to pick. At that point, if you wanted to be able to harvest something like this, we can take all this, and I'm just going to zoom out. I'm going to highlight all of this part right here, and then what I'll do is I'll right-click on it and collapse to function. And, oh, I'm sorry. It's because functions don't like delays. So we're going to break that event begin play, and we'll do this. Custom event growing. So now this is a custom event. We can start it off and let it run from there. So this actually is its own special event. And now we'll go over here to our event begin play. All we have to do is just drag off from here and put that custom event in. Now, we can add in a variable is grown. And then at the end of the growing cycle, we want to do set is grown to true. So with that, now as soon as it finishes its growing cycle, it's ready to be harvested. So now we can actually set up a custom event to where we can actually harvest it if we want to. And if you want to do this right here, you can set up your duration. The whole thing we did before, that's a float. We just do random float in range. And we want this to take between 3 minutes and 45 minutes or whatever. And you could do that and set your minimum value of whatever seconds, and this is in seconds, to whatever seconds. I'm just going to leave it at 5 for right now, so that's good to go. Now, it has collisions to it, and that's fine. But we could also add a component. How would we want to harvest this? If you walk over to it, you want to press the E key to be able to harvest it, right? Part of that functionality would actually have to be in the player, but we can do a simple method right now. Really, really simple. Let's go to our viewport. Let's add a component of a sphere collision. So now we have a little bubble around it, and that will be fine. Pick radius, because that's essentially what we've created. And right now we'll do right click on this. No, right click on this, add event on component begin overlap. And this again, very simple. You can do this however you want to. You can walk over, look at it, press a key, that kind of stuff. But we're just going to walk over it. And then other actor, we're going to cast to our player character. So cast to player underscore base, which is the name of my character. So only my player can walk over and harvest this. And then we need a branch node so that we can ask, is it grown? Because if it is not grown, then we don't want to be able to pick it. So if the player walks over it, we have to ask then, is it grown? If it is, then we can pick it up. If it's not, we could just, for whatever, we can actually sit here and say print text not ready to be picked yet. You know, this is just something for development wise, so we can actually see that, oh, well, it's not ready to be picked. I wouldn't put this in game because it just prints it in the little text in the upper left hand corner, but this is just a little notification for us for right now to see. But if it is true, then we don't have an inventory system yet. We're not going to put an inventory system in for a try before you buy asset. So let's just move you out of the way for now. But what we're going to do is, for now, delay 0.5. We're going to wait a half second and then we're just going to make it disappear. And we'll just do destroy actor, and self is fine. I'm not going to put anything else in there. So if we come in here and let's take and Control C, Control V. I'm going to put a couple of them in here. We'll hit play. Try to walk over it. Not ready to be picked yet. So just keep saying that. Not ready to be picked yet. Then now that it's fully grown, boom, gone. And gone. And gone. So now we can go and harvest it. We can, if we had an inventory system or, you know, whatever, then you could see that how many corn you've harvested or whatever. But that's a really simple system for setting up plants growing. And you know that, okay, I can't pick it yet. Oh, nope. Is it ready? Nope, not yet. Is it ready yet? Nope, not yet. Is it ready yet? Yay! It has carrots. Can do that with the beet roots. Now, here's the thing, is we've created this plant right here. We could also just right-click and create child blueprint class. And let's go with BP underscore Beet Root. And we'll change the name of this one to our plant master. So this being our master plant, let's grab all three of our carrots. Let's delete them. Since we're on our test map, let's do the right thing. Map stuff. Put all that stuff in the map stuff folder. And our plant master, let's create another child here, and we're going to call this our BP underscore carrot. Since the carrot is already there, we already know that it works. So I'm just going to grab this, Control C, Control V, and we'll have 3 carrots out. And we know it works. But, wait a minute. Why are you already sprouted? Alright, so for some reason the Plant master. Growing. Oh God. Don't know why that happened. That got turned into 0.2. So now we're back to the way we were before. So we see our carrots work, and you're growing quickly. So you can set up your speed however you want on them to grow. We can't harvest them because they're not ready yet. And now they're ready. So you don't have to have that half-second delay in there. I just did it for cosmetics. Let's go to our beet root. Now that we've got everything, if we go to our event graph, we're not going to be able to do anything in here. So probably not the best way to do that. So let's actually go back and do it again. Didn't think about the fact that we're using a null state on that. We need to be able to physically edit the thing. So I'm just going to put this back as carrot. Alright, so our BP carrot. Good to go. I know. I'm wasting time here. Control C, Control V. Are you gonna, like... Thank you. Alright, so we've got our carrots in. That's cool. Instead, we can actually do this and duplicate. Call this Beet Root. Now we'll go into it. And instead of our carrot ones, we can go back to our plants. And find our beet root. That's the first one. It's not ready to be picked yet. Click here. Go here, click here, click here, click here. Go here, click here, click here, and here, and our beetroot is finished. So we go back to our plant, and we will plant some beetroots. Control C, Control V. Now, as we look at our beetroots, when they grow, there we go. Walk over them, they're not ready yet. Oh, look, they're getting better. And they're ready to harvest. Yay. We harvested those, and let's harvest our carrots. So that's how you can set up your plants to actually grow, to have a growing effect to them. And again, if you want to have a variable rate of which they grow, during your delay section right there, again, all you've got to do is just come in here, and you can do this on your first one when you do like your carrot or your first plant, you do this way, and then when you duplicate it, it gets carried over. But all you would do then is just drag off from your delays duration and just do random float and range, and then put in here, okay, I want there to be a, you know, this to that to whatever. And I actually, you know, it's entirely up to you. I'm going to go with leaving it off because I'm just going to keep it simple. We changed it, so now we got to put it back to 5. But when you look at other plants, like I said, these, when you set it up to be random, is probably the best way to do it. Think about how long you want of in-game time for your plants to actually grow, because that doesn't look natural. So that's just bang, bang, bang. They're all popping at the same time. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to delete my beetroot. And that's going to get rid of the ones off my map. I'm going to go back in here, and I'm going to actually go ahead and do it. We'll drag out from here, and we'll do random float in range. And I'm going to make this so that we can see it, and it's going to be quick. Between 2 seconds and 5 seconds. You can be 2 minutes and 5 minutes, 20 minutes and 5 minutes. Just remember, these numbers you put in here are in seconds. So I'm going to Control C. I'm going to use the same thing for here. I'm putting these values really low just so we can actually see what's going on. And I'll put the last one in here. And that's that. I'm going to lower this down to 0.2. So now, with our carrots, being our first test one that way, well, look, okay, one sprouted, then another, then there's a third, and you see they're growing at different rates. And that's the way that I would suggest doing it, so that they grow in different rates, so that whenever you're trying to set up your farm, they're not all just, popping bump, 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 and looking symmetrical. This way you've got some variation in your map. And again, if you wanted to make the beet roots, then all you have to do is duplicate it, and we'll do the same thing again. Beet root. Go ahead, open your blueprint. We can close our carrot because our carrot is perfect, absolutely perfect. Go back to our plants. And again, all I did was went in here, click that arrow, scroll over, go back, go to the middle state, click there, scroll over, go back to here, click on our final state, click the little arrow, compost, save, we're good. Go to our plants folder, and we can start planting some beetroot. Right there, and right there. I know this is a terrible looking map, but this is a test map. This is what you do on test maps. So now you got beetroots. All your crops are growing at different rates now. Isn't that lovely? It's amazing. You can rotate them when you put them down, so it gives a little bit nicer overall look. And that is a simple way of creating plants. And I mean, okay, you got this, or you can select them here. I got all these carrots. Well, I want more. Control C, Control V. Put some there, and we'll put another reset right there. So now, I'll go out here, look at our crops growing. And it's awesome. You can do that with a lot of the plants that are in here. See, I walked over, it said not ready to be picked yet. And then once they're ready to be harvested, you just walk over and I said the harvesting method you choose is entirely up to you. I chose this as being the simple and fast way just to showcase what's going on. So that's cool. Now, what if you want to do other plants? The other plants you've got bananas. Okay, well, you're going to have a banana tree, and then with the tree itself, then you're going to be adding these in here, and it's going to go from this to this to this or whatever. If you do the melons, essentially what you've got is you're going to have a plant. Say the watermelons. Okay, I'm actually going to get rid of some of my carrots. Create folder, plants, take them, shove them in here. So if you want to do the watermelons, okay, you've got nothing, that's your first state, then 1, 2, and 3, just like we did with the other ones, but we're going to have to add in something else. We need the plant itself. So we got more of a state going on there. Same thing with these guys, the Italian pumpkins, these pumpkins. You've got multiple states involved. Same thing with these, and here, and here. So you actually have prop plant ground, let's say probably like these. You want something at first to happen. You want the plant to grow, and then you have the actual vegetable growing. So you have multiple different states. So let's actually go ahead and build a watermelon plant. I like watermelons. Hell, I got some watermelon in the fridge right now. Good stuff. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and create the blueprint for it. Plants, and we're going to duplicate our carrots. And call this our watermelon. Sorry. Whatever. We're going to go into it. Now, we don't have to worry about the viewport because there's nothing there. What we're going to have to do is, for our first 3 states, we're going to have the plant growing. So let's go ahead and pick our first plant. And this is just like we did with the other one. Yes, you can do your hemp plants too and grow your pot. Let's see here. Let's go with... It's kind of small. You guys may not be able to see what I'm looking at right here. But probably do this and this. I don't know. There's your strawberry plant, but we'll start with this guy right here. Or this one. We'll try this one right here and see what it does. So we'll select the first one in our smallest state. Go back here. Hit that arrow. Scroll over to our next one. Select our next mesh. Hit the arrow. Scroll over so we're ready for the next one. Click on this. And click on that arrow. So let's check our actual plant growth really quickly. And let's grab watermelon. Control C, Control V. I'm going to put 3 of them down like I did before. Yes, I'm looking at the numbers so I can be symmetrical. So now if we look at our plants growing, so we get our growth of just the plant itself. Oh, they're over here. So that's good. We got our patch growing. Now we need a location for our melons to grow. And that's going to be interesting to do. So let's go back to our watermelon and let's look at our viewport. We can't actually see it. So let's look at our carrot, which let's change that to plant. Short term, I want to put a mesh associated with it so that I can see what our grown plant looks like. Which was this one. So we have it. We will remove it here shortly. And we'll have to enlarge our pick radius. So the next thing we want to do is let's find our full-size pumpkin. You know what? I'm going to go with the small pumpkin. Doesn't matter what I'm using here. The small watermelon. So I'm going to add a component. We're static mesh and melon. Okay, it seems to be okay from right there, but I'm just going to move it just a little bit. And if I go in here and now pick the bigger one and hit there, we can see it will go in there. What happens if we do this one? Totally different. So yeah, we'll just leave it at this right here. So that will be the one to be picked. So let's actually just make this bigger. And what the heck, I'll just shift it over a little bit. Now what I want to do is to go back in here and do this and clear. Go back to the plant, open it up, and hit clear. So we don't have the actual models in there yet. Now, we are on this point right here in the growing section. So we're just going to have to extend this out. So I'm going to break that because we have 3 more states to put in. So I'm going to just grab all this. Everything in here is selected. And then before I connect it together, I'm actually going to Control C, thank you, Control V. Before I connect them together, so that I know that they're separate and I don't mix them up together, I'm going to come back in here and select this guy and select here. Move over, select the middle one, here, slide over, and the full size, click there, and then we can move our set is grown to true at the end of that. And now we can connect these together. Now we should have, well, we've got a total of 6 phases now. But that should get us going. So we got our delay here, and then we're moving into that. So that's good, I think. So if we go in here and watch our melons grow. Alright, so we got our first growing stage, second growing stage, and they're all random. Oh no! That's no bueno. Why did it do that? Oh, because we're mentally retarded. We're using the plant reference on the back part. Because I'm stupid. Grab the melon. And this now gets plugged into the target. And target, and target. So that now should be good. Now that my brain is unsaturated from being stuck in my head, stuck in my ass there. So there we go. We've got our plants growing. What the hell are you doing? Okay, well, you're changing all kind of weird states there. Okay, well, you're grown. So I can now come over here and harvest you. And there. Now, if you want your watermelon vines to stay there, then at that point, you've got your setup right here. Destroy actor. You're destroying everything. You could potentially, well, we'll let you do that. No. Okay, well, you could actually probably go about that a different way, but I'm sure there's a way you could set it up to where you're just picking the melon only, but it'll work just as good going this way. So now that we've done that for the watermelon, if we wanted to change that over to these guys, that's not a problem. So you can grow your squash. Now, I see on that particular squash, there's 3 states. The butternut squash, same thing. White pumpkins. So since there's 3 states for each one of them, essentially you're doing the same thing. You can use that same plant if you want to, or you can change it to these 3 or these 3, or you can change that base plant to whatever you want and then grow from there. Strawberry plants are probably one that you'd want to grow up and then harvest and leave the plant there, because you don't Well, the watermelons, what we used to always do was just plow the field over and forget about it. You might get 1 or 2 watermelons per vine anyway. But at the end of the season, we just plow the crap over. But the strawberries, you've got 1, 2, and 3 states here. They're the fruit on the actual vine. So, like tomatoes, you're going to have your grow rate and then your harvestable portion of your tomatoes. You generally can pick more than 5 or 6 tomatoes from each plant. So, how you set up your plants is entirely up to you. But the basics, like your corn. Corn starts out, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 states on your corn. So it would just be a matter of adding in one more stage of the growing cycle the way it was done earlier. Really simple to do. The same basic principle we did with the watermelon for the tomatoes and peppers and things like that. You just walk over, you're going to harvest the whole plant. But whenever you do that, you're setting up your inventory. Okay, you just got a tomato. No, you want to say, okay, you just harvested 5 tomatoes or 7 tomatoes, or you could do a random float in range or integer in range and say you just picked 3 from this plant, but 5 for that one, 1 from this one. Same thing with your peppers. When you're doing your inventory system, I would do it that way so you can have some random ability and just make the whole plant go away. And yes, if you want to grow hemp, let's go ahead and grow some hemp just because. What's up, brother? Now, why did they put an image on there and leave those as that? I don't get it. We're just going to duplicate our carrot. And we're going to call this hemp. Go into it. Go back to our plants. And our first stage of hemp will be this guy. So we'll go in here, hit that tab, scroll over. Select that one, hit the arrow, scroll over, and get our full one, and hit there. Compost, save, ready to go. Now go back and look at plants. So now we got carrots, beet roots, and we got us some some hemp. Control C, Control V. There we go. Let's go to first person view and see our random growing plants. We're getting some watermelons. Yay. Pot's already done, ready to harvest. So let's go ahead and get us some weed. It's 4:20 somewhere. Start harvesting out of the beets. And let's harvest our watermelons. There we go. So we have harvested our goodies. You can do that with whatever plants you want. It works so simple. And screw it, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate, and let's go ahead and make some corn. Going to end up making a lot of these anyway so that I can actually put them into the main map. I'll change the delay times and so forth so we can actually see it. But we've got the sprinkler working, we got the wind turbines working, now we got the crops growing. So let's go back down here, go to our plants, go to our corn. Right there. Our lowest state there. Go in, zoom in, just click the arrow, select there, select the arrow. See, there's a 4th state there. So we're going to add that in there. So let's go in here, add that in. What we're going to have to do here is grab these two and this. I'll recap it real quick. Super damn simple. Okay, you guys saw me do this. Control C and Control V. Thank you. Beyond simple system for growing these the crops. So this is the fourth state of the corn. We'll grab it and click there, and we need to make sure that we get our corn or our plant reference. Okay, to target. We can just call this our. We should have done this on the first one. Plant. So all we did was we came in here, add a component, static mesh. We didn't assign any static mesh to it at all, so you have nothing. No static mesh assigned to your plant static mesh. Okay. Then we created a custom event, which was called growing. We put in a delay. We did a random float in range. And what I should do here, and I'm going to have to go back and do for all of them, because proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. We will do this, called a min grow rate. Yeah, it stops after it's fully grown. So we're doing our minimum grow rate right here, and we're going to make this a float. And then we're going to make another variable called max grow rate. It's also a float, and I'm going to expose both of these. I like exposing myself. I mean, yeah, whatever. So what we need to do here is make this even more. We will go in here, and we will get the minimum. Go in here, and get the maximum. So these are going to be the same thing that are plugged into here. So let's 2 and 5. So I'm going to leave those as defaulted at 2 and 5. While I'm making this work, then we'll kind of show you. So now these are going to be 2 and 5, the same thing that we already had. But now we're going to plug these into here. And yeah. So now we have a minimum and maximum grow rate that we can actually assign. So I need to do this. Control C, Control V, and plug this in there on all of them. And I'll come back and I'll keep explaining what actually happens here. It is beyond stupidly simple. But by having it set this way, I'll show you why I'm doing this in just a moment. So, again, to recap, custom event called growing. We have two variables, one called minimum grow rate and the maximum grow rate. These get plugged into a random float in range, which is assigned to a delay. And again, all this is going to do is create a delay of either between 2 seconds and 5 seconds, or whatever we change that to. We can change this variable later, and I'll show you how easy that is. So the minimum time it takes for it to go from nothing visible to something visible for your first one, and then we get a reference to our actual plant, and then we set static mesh. We set a delay, and then we do the same thing. And all we're doing is we're going from our different growing status of nothing to this, this to this, this to this, this to that. So this one has 4 stages. Most of them have 3 stages. The watermelon ended up having 6 stages. 7 if you consider the fact that there's nothing there. So with this, let's go ahead and compile and save. And then to harvest it, all I did was I put a your little spherical radius, so that whenever you step over it, the player it checks to see if it's grown and ready to be harvested. If it's not, it will tell us right here, not ready to be picked yet. You can change that with a widget blueprint that shows up on the screen, not ready to be harvested yet. And then if it is ready to be harvested, then all it's doing right now is destroying Actor. But you could set it up to where it adds it to your inventory. You can have 16 corn or whatever, and then it also will still destroy Actor. But what you do with it after this point, yes, it's ready to be harvested, is entirely up to your thingy. And then on begin play, we're running the growing thing, the growing custom event. So let's actually grab our corn. Go to our plants folder, and I'm going to put them over here. Corn. We'll just do it this way. Control C, Control V. So let's watch our corn grow. So now we have, okay, there's corn, there's corn. They're growing at random rates now, so they're not all fully symmetrical. And there we go. We've progressed back to our final state, which I don't like that. It was moving before, and now it's not. Let's start it again. I may remove that last state. See, as it's growing, see, now it's swaying in the breeze, and then it goes to our final state and just stops moving. Well, easy enough. We can look over and see. We get close enough. We're going to have to enlarge our radius here. Our pick radius needs to be bigger. And yeah, let's do that. We need it to be bigger so we can actually walk into it. So as it's growing, we can see, okay, it's not ready to be picked yet. I understand. How about now? It has collisions too, so you know that's kind of a good thing. Then we see it growing, and then it stops. Well, now it's ready to be harvested. Yay. Get our beets. Let's get our pots. Get our watermelons. Like so. Now, with putting in this extra setup right there, and I should have done that on all of them, but if I come over here and select my corn, see, corn, now as I look at the actual details panel, minimum grow rate is 2, max is 5. I can change that now. Now it's going to set it for all across the board, and then you could also set it a decay time. So if you wanted a decay time, this is something that I didn't think about before, was we could add in, okay, it's done growing. If we want a decay section, let's actually get in here and we'll say, whatever, custom event, decay. And then we can also do a new variable called Decay Time, and we can run a delay, just pop that in there, and we'll pop that in here, and we'll set our compost and save here. We'll set our decay time to 10 seconds. Make sure we click here so that it's exposed. Compost, save. Then at the end of the growing cycle, we can now decay. And what that is going to do is after that time, it's going to destroy Actor. So the plant goes away after the decay time. So if you don't harvest your crops within a certain time, you can set it to be dead. So that's what we're going to do now, is test that out. Our corn's growing. It looks lovely. It's coming up nicely. And what did I do on my decay time? 10 seconds. Oh, well, we set it after that. We don't want to do that. So we can actually add that in the end here. So we had our decay cycle at the end of the growing cycle. So now, if we don't pick our corn before it reaches its decay time, and they're ready to be harvested now, but I'm not going to harvest them. Dun 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 dun. Come on. Boop, boop, gone. We didn't pick it in time, so our corn just withered away and died. Not that I know of, but we could also look to see if there's like a crappy plant or burn out something or whatever that we can add into our decay cycle and turn our plant into junk, or looks terrible or what have you. Yeah, we just want something to be there. Oh, bush round. What is that? Oh, no, that ain't gonna do it. So we can add into our our delay cycle. Just find a plant that looks terrible or whatever. Here's the wheat. It's like a single stalk. Sunflower. Yeah, there isn't a decayed plant for the corn. So I would say probably, let's look at this guy. I'll just use that for now. So after the end of this, we go to our decay cycle. We get a reference to our plant. Actually, we can get rid of the destroy actor. All right. No. Undo. Wrong spot. Go down here and delete destroy actor. Yeah, for now we'll just do destroy actor. And what we'll do here is learn how to spell, set static mesh, and there we go. That should do it. So let's take a look at it and let's watch our corn grow. And it's ready to be harvested. So 15 seconds later, we didn't pick it in time. Now it looks like it's there. So yeah, we can still walk over it and quote unquote harvest. But the thing is, if we're setting up our inventory system and we see that it's gone to this point right here, it's decayed, we could create another variable called is decayed. Make sure it is a boolean, and then at the end we'll just set is decayed to true. And whenever you're actually harvesting it, on component begin overlap to the thing, we could actually add in here a branch Sure, you could do it. I mean, because we set up growing is actually a custom event, we could just re-trigger it to grow again if you wanted to. All you'd have to do is just add that custom event back in to wherever you want it to begin growing again. And once you harvest it, we could actually do that. Since is grown, we can set to do what you're saying there, is grown to true. So never-ending crops. We harvest it, and it just regrows itself. So to do that, we're on the harvesting portion right now, where we overlap. Then we ask, is grown? If true... Actually, no, we don't need to do that. Because we've already done this, we're destroying actor. Okay? That's the problem with that, is we're destroying the actor itself. Well, let's continue with what I was doing. If you want to make it regrow at that point, whenever you pick it, instead of using a destroy actor, this removes the actor from the entire map, and it's gone completely. My whole concept was, okay, it's already gone. I need to replant it. So then the farmer themselves, they go in there, and you'll set up points on the map where you could walk over and plant corn, plant beets, plant whatever. So you could plant whatever you want within those row sections. But if you wanted to continuously regrow once you harvested it, at that point, instead of destroying the actor, what you need to do is you're going to need to clear. You could spawn it, but let's see if there is something that I can pull from the static mesh to let's see. Because what you're doing at this point is you have to clear the static mesh, or you have to pick a state that you want it to go back into. Because then at this point you are ignoring the normal grow cycle that we've already established in here. But essentially what you're doing is you're skipping a step. You'll have to redo the growing cycle and make another custom event for regrowth or whatever, and get it to go from here. Essentially, you can make the plant change to a different static mesh, and then at that point, recycling it back to this. You're just creating a loop. Once you harvest, it goes back to this state. But I like the idea, though, of removing it whenever you get done harvesting it. And then, like I was saying before, if it is decayed, you don't want to harvest it and still be able to get the fruit if it's already decayed. So in this process right here of decay, after your decay time, and let's compile and save. If we look right here, we select our corn. If we look, we have our minimum grow rate, max grow rate, and decay time. So we could always put a fail-safe in if we've built our corn like this or our plant system like this, and we have delay time set up in there. Yeah, I mean, you could do it all kind of different ways. I mean, pretty much you say, okay, this is what I want my plants to do, and I'll build you the friggin' thing. But I'm just talking about generic stuff right now to where it grows. If you want to have this built into most of your crops, but now I've just planted these, I don't really want them to decay after time. You could actually also go in here, and since we've got decay built in, and at the end we're running decay, or running that cycle. So if you don't harvest it within time, then it's going to go away. Instead, let's do a variable can decay. Let's make that exposed and push this decay back, and let's add a branch in here. So if it can decay, we'll grab this, put that in there, then it'll decay. If it is not, if you don't want it to decay, then you disable that whenever you put the plant down. So if I compile and save now, and I select this guy, this corn here, can decay is now a variable that I can select individually. I don't want you to decay at all, and I want you to decay after 10 seconds. I want you to decay after 15 seconds. And I want you to never decay. So you now have the ability to individually control whether it decays or not. So the two on the very ends will not decay. The two in the middle will decay at different times. So, okay. Okay, all of them are good to go. They're fully grown. Those two decayed. So yeah, I set the outside two to decay at different times. It looked almost instantaneously or at the same time, but they grew at different rates. But the two in the middle are not going to decay. And can decay is unchecked. I got it backwards. Can decay is checked. So can decay needs to be on by default. Or what am I doing here? Can decay true, then decay. If not, then don't do it. Why did it do it backwards? This guy is set to no decay. And this guy is set no decay. But they did. They decayed. Why the hell are you backwards? These two right here, it's unchecked. Okay, we're going to do this. Can decay is checked. That one is checked. This one is not checked. This one is not checked. So these two should not decay. This one and this one should decay. So the outside two I've set not to wither away. Alright. Outside right is done. Left is done. All of them are ready to be picked. So, what in the hell? Why is it bass-ackwards? The two of them that I said should decay are not decaying. And the ones that I said not to decay have decayed. So, my plants are rotting in a backwards order. So, since that's the case, I'm just going to do it like that. If you can delay, then don't do it. Why? Because Unreal Engine 4. So, alright, so we'll check them again. This corn should decay. This one should not. This one should not. Yes, you will decay. Yes, you will decay. No, you will not. And no, you will not. So the outside two should decay. The inside two should not. Okay. They are all ready to be picked. Okay, that worked. And why did the other one... Okay, there you go. There you go. We have growing plants that, you know, we can still get rid of them. We can harvest them. But I'm guessing if you wanted to set it up to where they just regrew, that's one thing. Like I said, I'm just pretty much setting up the try before you buy version right now. So I'm not going to have them... I'm not going to build this cool, fantastic, awesome system for doing all this. So save all. Let's go back to the demonstration map. So look at what we already have, and then we can start replacing some of the plants. And so we've redone those wind turbines. I didn't put the new versions back out there yet, but let's go ahead and move the camera speed up to 7. So I'll grab this guy and this guy. Since we had another farm that was over there, I'll just do Control C, Control V. And I'll move one over there. That's good. We'll Control C and Control V so I can add a couple more over here. And Control V. And these are the new fixed versions that are variable speed. So we hit play. We don't have a player starting here yet, but so those blades move at a variable speed. They're not all turning at the same speed. They're turning in the same direction, but the speed's different. They're relatively close to each other. And again, with those, if we wanted to, we can go back into our blueprints, go to our wind turbine, and what we did was 10 and 55. I can always go back in here and do the same thing we did with the plants and set a min speed. Make sure that's a float. And then create another variable, which is max speed. Make sure both of these are exposed, because we like exposing ourselves. And plug them into that variable. So we'll go back in here, compile, save. Our minimum speed we'll set to 15. Our max speed we'll set to 50. It is exposed. So go in here and play. Oh, dumbass. Minimum speed needs to be, we're doing this so that they're actually going in a different direction, so we need negative. So negative 15 to negative 50. So we'll have to remember that they're a negative number. See, now they're going in the correct direction, and they're going in different speeds. And if I want, I can come over here and I can change that to negative 250. Yeehaw! That one's really kicking out. So you can set whatever speed you want. So I'm just going to leave it default. Save all. So we got that. The wind turbines work. The sprinklers work. So we got our sprinklers working here. I just put 3 in. I didn't put the same number of them back in. That's effective. So what we can start doing here is removing some of the pumpkins, or wherever we find like the corn. We can remove the corn. We'll change our camera speed back. We know we got carrots. We know we got corn. We got beet roots and hemp. So we got 4 different plants we can work with. So we can go in here and pick out all this corn, replace them. But since these are just static meshes, it would have been cool if I could just click a button and say, okay, replace with a blueprint. But I can't. So I'm going to find all of the carrots. And there's a bunch of them. Go to there and hit delete. All the corn is gone. uncheck my unsorted, and all my carts are gone. So create a new folder, call it carrots, and I'm going to go ahead and I forgot I got watermelons too. Carrots. I didn't set these up to have the min max on the grow range, so I'm going to add that in really quickly. And min grow rate float, and this is super easy to add. Expose new max grow rate and expose, and we just want to put you in higher and you in here. Compile and save, and then go back in here. I said compile and save, you sack of shit. So our minimum grow rate is 3 seconds, and max grow rate is, would you just please back off, 5 seconds. Alright, so we got our minimum grow rate and our maximum grow rate. I'm going to grab that, Control C, Control V, plug it in, same thing. And that's it. Compost and save. Now our carrots are upgraded. So I can grab a carrot. What I will do is actually check it out first. I'll make sure it's good to go on the row. Change my snap into 5. So I'm going to watch it. I'm going to make sure it works. There's our first stage, second stage, final stage, and we can harvest it. Alright, so with that, I'm going to take that and I'm going to change my grow rates to 30 seconds and 60 seconds. So between 30 seconds and a minute it's going to take for it to actually grow. Then we'll take it and Control C, Control V, and we'll paste the first portion here. And then we can copy all of these and do it like so. We're good to go on the row, so I can grab this, put it in my carrots folder, Control C, Control V, and plant them. And what I'll do is now come back to here, grab all of them, Control C, Control V, and close enough for my government work. And then same thing, Control C, Control V, and I can plant this row relatively quickly now that I've got it like that. And we will have a bunch of growing carrots. I won't bore everybody to frickin' tears. More than normal. Gonna grab these guys. Control C, Control V. Finish out the row. now, looks like nothing's there. We walk by there, and let's actually get rid of the not ready to be picked yet, because yeah, that will get annoying as you're walking down through the row. So we hit play, and we can't harvest them, but we'll just stand here being the scarecrow, and we'll give it 30 seconds. We'll walk around a little bit, and we'll come back and check on our crops. So do that with all the different veggies that we want to work with. We're not going to be able to harvest them until they're ready anyway, so we can walk over them all we want to. Like, dude, there is nothing in that field. Oh, what the hell? So after between 30 seconds and a minute, we'll start saying, oh, look. And they're all completely random from each other. None of them are going to be exactly the same by chance. No, I'm not making Farming Simulator Synty Edition. What is that? Weird. Okay, ground's growing through it. Now, we have all this stuff. Again, we can't harvest it because they're not grown yet. So, that's easy, right? We have working, growing carrots in our demonstration field. Again, since this is using my simple multiplayer Steam template, once I get done with all these different little aspects of it like this, I will upload this so you guys can download it and check it out. There's no combat, there's no whatever, you're not actually planting it on your own. It's just a demonstration for you to walk around the map and see things, how they work, and that kind of stuff. We'll see if one of them is ready to harvest yet. Oh, I see one over here. Yay, I harvested a carrot. At this point, again, you could have it trigger a widget blueprint that pops up on the screen for a couple seconds and goes away. You got carrots. You got a carrot. You got a carrot. You got a carrot. But that would be annoying as crap after a little while anyway. So we know our corn work, our carrots work. That's just one little small field there. And I still got a lot more vegetables to do. But we can now minimize that, and we don't have to see our carrots clogging up our world outliner over here. So, got corn. Not going to let the corn decay on one side, but I might, let some on the other rows over here decay. So I guess, yeah, we're just going to have to do this. Corn, we know that it's growing here, and we know it's growing here. Probably in other places too, but we're going to plant this row of corn here. But I'm going to delete all the corn off the map. Hay bales, lots of hay bales. Let's click on the corn again. So we get into it. Yeah, there's a lot of corn. So corn right there. Scroll down to the end of the corn. Children of the corn. Right there. Alright, Jebediah, let's harvest all that corn. Yay! And there was much rejoicing. So let's go ahead and plant some corn. And we still have it at 2, 5, and 10. We're going to uncheck decay. Let's watch you grow. We'll plant this corn, and I'm going to get the hell out of here, take a break for a little bit. Alright, so corn's grown. I can harvest it. Yay. And there's much rejoicing. Control C, Control V. It's super simple to do this. I mean, The other way to go about this is if you're trying to make your own game where you want to plant these things, that's something totally different. Where you'd be able to plant everywhere, or, you know. Okay, go back up here. Minimize this damn unsorted crap. Let's build another folder called corn. Dump you in there. Control C, Control V, and there we go. We want to add a little bit more space in between on the corn. I would say like so. Depends on if you want people to be able to walk through your corn or not. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to do it right there to where they're almost touching. So just about touching. Control C, Control V, yay. And again, much rejoicing. Yeah, I mean, if you're adventurous, you could set it up to where you could use, you know, your plant stuff by hand, or you could even use the tractors and implements and all kind of stuff like that. I'm not building Farming Simulator. I think it is cool to be able to have the growing crops. It's probably going to be too many. Yep. But I can just delete the ones I don't need. Or you could just be a total pain in the ass and make me have to click all over the damn place to get the damn things. Yes, I am going to be just this OCD because it's not symmetrical on the ends of the rows of the corn. Holy crap, I am actually going there. So I'm going to grab all the frickin' corn and bring it over to here. Since I know that we had... shit. We had corn where? I thought it was like right here. But I'm not going to mess with the sprinklers and use the corn. Oh, well, see, now that I've got all of them selected, here's another good thing. I forgot to change my grow times. So now that I have all of them selected, this is a common variable between all of them. I'm going to go ahead and say my minimum grow time is 30 seconds, and my maximum grow time is 60 seconds. Decay time, I'm not worried about because I did not check for them to decay. So now if we hit play, we will have random corn growing, and there will be much rejoicing. You could set up however you want to plant. You set up an animation to where you kneel down, you plant it inside there, or you're driving the tractor and, you know, you come over here, you hit E and you jump on the tractor, and now you can drive the tractor around, and you're turn on and off the spray. There's so many little things you can do when you're setting up your maps. Oh, and I forgot to get rid of the not ready to be picked yet. But that's a quick fix. So our corn works. Just go back in here, go back over here, get rid of you, delete, compost, save. And let's make sure we get rid of it on the hemp. So yes, we can actually plant some pot leaves, you know, pot plant somewhere. Beet roots. It's not going to affect our harvesting. It's just going to get rid of that little message saying, not ready to be picked yet. Oh, and watermelons. Well, that's good to go. that works. What are you guys? Taters. All right. Here are the broccolis. Let's yeah, I'm good. Dust. Here's our watermelon patch. So I'll come in here and I'll replace all those watermelons. I'll do the pumpkins the same way that I did the watermelons. I'll just copy my watermelon and change the actual melons themselves. There's our hemp, our maters, sunflowers. So I got a lot of work to do to finish converting the rest of the plants over, but close enough for now. There's our squash. There's some beets. Just want to have some of the plants that we're actually growing, just so you can actually see something happening. I need to go through the rest of them and actually do the why is it that I guess since there's a shitload of collision boxes and they're all overlapping, it's probably not liking that. Yeah, it'll get over itself. Really quickly, we made our changes to our width of our capsule collision. So let's see what happens when we actually try to go upstairs now. We're not as fat as we once were. The characters, at least. God, I love that. Let me on the fucking porch. There we go. No problem. Since we're not as fat as we once were, we can actually walk up and down the stairs now without having to edit or modify the stairs in any way, shape, or form. And there was lots of rejoicing. That's our corn. Yay. Our corn's growing. Why is there no corn there? Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry. You grow at your own damn rate. I ain't trying to rush you or nothing. Just wondering why you weren't there. There's no horsies in here. I'm not going to put any other asset packs in here. This is the TB4, the try before you buy, just for this pack. So if it's in the pack, it'll be in here. Again, I'm just putting in the growing plants, just add a little bit of life to it. I've got the working wind turbines. I got the working sprinklers, growing plants. I don't have to do all of them for this. I'm not actually making a game out of this. I'm just doing a multiplayer try before you buy. So you can run around, check things out, see what you can kind of do with it, and see how it looks before spending money on it, because once you see it, you will buy it. Yeah, that's good. That's good enough for me. In fact, I may not do a hell of a lot more with it, just simply because I'm not building a game. If I was building this as my own personal game, then I would make sure that all the plants were growing and they had a good grow system to them with random grow rates and, you know, a spoil rate and that kind of stuff. Sprinklers, instead of it just going around in a circle like this, maybe make it to where you have to physically turn them on, or, you know, whatever. If I was doing my own version of a farming simulator, then yeah. But Scarecrow, why not think about using this as not just a farm-based thing? Well, yeah, make it a farming apocalyptic deal where you got zombies coming at you and you're trying to grow food. You've got your own little grow plots and that kind of stuff. You can do whatever you want with it. Yeah, there's no zombies in this pack, but if I change my character, I can change my hats. I can add the glasses if I want. Add the piece of wheat sticking out of my mouth or whatever. But we got vehicles. We got all the farming implements. You know, little things like the truck. Making the truck actually work. Gee, not that difficult. The hardest part of that is actually remembering how to socket the player character to the seat. But just making it drivable, hell, that's easy. You can do that in 5 minutes. is 4 wheels. Same thing with the tractors. Because it's 4 wheels, it should be easy to retarget and use. But again, you'd want to socket the character to it and do all kind of fancy cool stuff. Then if you try attaching trailers, then you got to have other stuff going on with that. And I'm not making a full game here. I'm just making this stuff. You see what you see. Different hay bales, horse jumps. So you can put this in with the horse and the physics pack, an animation pack. You can do this with if you want to add zombies, add zombies. If you want to do whatever, honestly, you can't go wrong with these Synty asset packs. Oh, there's another sawmill or windmill. I could set that up as well. I'm not gonna, but because I don't see one on the map. Is there one on the map? Yeah, I probably will do one. Because it's super complicated. It takes like a minute and a half. Got the water tanks, got the hay bales, got all the combine and all the different harvester stuff and trucks and trailers and yeehaws. Could do the wheat growth. That's no problem. Yeah, I'm not going to mess with it right now. I'm going to take a break and get out of here for a little bit. And honestly, I think with the corn growing and the carrots growing, I will do the watermelon patch. And I'll probably leave it at that. The way they got their watermelon patch set up as it's randomized through there, I'll probably do the same thing that I did with the other ones and then go back in and delete a couple here and there. Maybe rotate them a little bit just so that you have a little bit of growth in there. I'll do the watermelon patch. And since I went through the trouble of making beet roots, carrots, corn, hemp, and watermelon, I will do all of these. So I'll do the watermelon patch here, and over here the hemp, wherever it was, I will redo them. I'll put the hemp somewhere where you can see it grow. Same thing with the beet roots. I'll find a section of beetroot and make them grow. See, there's your hemp growing in the trough. Why, I don't know. Veg rows. But yeah, I'll make something up with those. Close you, damn it. And then I will package this up and I will throw this on itch.io, and this will be available for anybody to download free of charge. On the stuff on itch.io, it does have a suggestion that pops up to donate $2. Add about 7 or 8 zeros behind that, and you should be good to go. So you can donate about $200,000-$300,000, and I would be very thankful. But if you don't want to, you can skip that. You can just, there's a little small button down there that allows you to just bypass the donate part, but I recommend that you don't do that. I recommend that you give me all the monies because I like all the monies. So I'm going to get out of here, take a break for a little bit, get away from the computer. I'm not actually going to be sitting here, so if you send me a message on Discord, I won't see them because I'm going to be out of the room for a little bit. Find what the hell I was doing here. So yeah, I will be back later. If you guys want me to stream some more, let me know. I probably will stream some more, but I just wanted to do something with this. I may actually make a separate video. I'll probably stream it also, but I'll make a separate video just on this. Hi, welcome. This is the TB4, or Try Before You Buy, for the Synty Studios Polygon Farm Pack, or whatever. I won't be doing any questions and answers on that. I'm just going to do, here's what it is, here's what it be and what it be like. Enjoy it, that kind of stuff. So I can have that link to post on the, on their Discord channel and on the actual itch.io page. So thank you for everybody that stopped by. I will be back shortly on Discord, and I will finish up by doing the hemp, the watermelon, and the beetroot, and I think I will probably do the other windmill, make it functional, and then I'll go ahead and pack this up and upload it. All right, thanks a lot, and we will see you guys after a while.